Hello, hello, secret agents. Jesse Mack coming at you here from Phoenix, Arizona. And for those of you guys that aren't watching us live, you're watching us on a replay or a video everywhere. I want to welcome you. Let us know where you're logging in from, where you're logged on from in the chat box. I want to get a chance to welcome everybody as we are on a mission to a view from the edge, in Las Vegas. October 15th, 16th, and 17th is where we are all headed. In fact, if you haven't been to viewamericas.com, you can see the timeline, you can see the countdown. You can find a hotel. Some people are asking, is there a host hotel? The competitive rates in Las Vegas are incredible. So just anywhere in downtown Los Angeles is where the venue is. You're going to be able to. So downtown Los Angeles. Don't book a hotel in downtown Los Angeles. Downtown Las Vegas. That would be a long commute every day. So downtown Las Vegas, we are going to be out there. But we aren't just waiting for October to come upon us. We have a road show that's happening where this road show to the View, where you have leaders that are literally coming into almost every major marketplace. And I know for my Canadian friends and family that we don't have much scheduled up there yet. We're still looking to work around it. You guys have some interesting in and out issues, as you guys know. So it's a 2-week quarantine for most of us to come. We are still trying to find ways for us to be able to get around or through that. But having me locked in a hotel room for 2 weeks to do a meeting for one day, probably not the best use of my time at this point. But as things start opening up, I promise you, we're first on the schedule to be able to get up there into your country. That being said, for everybody around there, now, just because you might not be able to get to these events, here's what's amazing about it. It's one of the things I learned a long time ago in my career is follow your leadership. Now, by follow your leadership, it wasn't necessarily just go where they are, is put people in front of them. When you can put people in front of your leadership that are the best trainers, best speakers, best closers, best promoters, that from any parts of the world, you can build not only a national organization, but an international organization by following your leadership. So I know Muzaffar is going to Colombia. Who do you know in Colombia? These are questions to start asking people. These are questions to start, reaching out there. In your social media, different places, looking up through social where people are from so you can figure those things out. You can actually go put that in there in social media, and you can find people from different areas or different states that you're connected to through some of these platforms and these programs. However, today's conversation is going to be a little bit different. So today I want to talk to you about handling objections. That's going to be our topic here for today, handling objections. Now, I want to talk about this, and one of the main reasons why is because it's something that you are going to have and are going to be presented with for the rest of your career. So avoiding it is not going to make you successful. Now, for some of you, you're brand new here to Seacret, and objections are terrifying, and I get it, right? So, but objections are great. The reason why I love objections is because objections are letting people know that there's that you have presented to somebody that they have a concern or an objection for, which makes me excited. If you have no objections, that means you have no presentations, you have no exposures going on in your business. So objections are a sign of activity, which is great. So I'm proud of you for going out there and doing the activity. Okay. Now, in the beginning, I know that this can be one of those things where you're like, oh man, what do I do? What do I say? And it's always interesting because how many of you guys have had an objection to something that you've done in the presentation, and in the moment you had a hard time figuring out how to deal with that objection, and then like literally 10 minutes after the conversation or after you left, you got off the phone, you're like, oh, I should have said this. How many guys have had that experience, right? Oh man, I thought of the perfect thing to say. And you want to call them back and be like, all right, give me the objection again. I got it this time, right? And that is part of it, where you're just like, it can be frustrating and aggravating. And am I doing this right? And I need, and this usually leads to a lot of people through paralysis, through analysis, feeling like I gotta know everything. That's usually where this comes from. What comes from the I got to know everything is because I don't want to be in a situation where I might look silly or look dumb or not have the right answer or not have the right comeback. And trust me, I know all of these experiences as we have all gone through them inside of our career. So I want to talk a little bit about objections, how to kind of prepare for them, how to move through them, move around them, and how to let the objection simply be a rejection. And I want to state this for it's very, very important, okay? There is a difference between an objection and rejection. and you need to start learning the difference. There are people that will use an objection when they really are just not interested. And instead of saying, listen, I'm just really not interested, they will use an objection because it seems nicer to let you down, right? And we've all done this before, right? You know, someone says, do you want to come to this? I'm really busy. You're not busy. You just don't want to say, I don't want to go. So we've all done this. Most people are trying to be kind. The challenge is that we have to start understanding some discernment between somebody that is really uninterested and somebody that just really has a fear or concern. So that being said, let's just dive into this here a little bit when it comes to objections. And if you're in a place where you can unmute, right, where it's not too loud, I'm going to ask you guys to give me some of the objections that you get inside of your career, or some of the objections that you have heard over the course of your career. So let me pop up this my Elmo here. All right. Oh, no, don't need two cameras. Still don't need two cameras. And kada-boom, ta-da, ka-da, ka-show, Shazam. There we go. Okay. So, so give me some of the objections. If you guys can unmute for me here real quick. I think you're allowed to unmute. What are some of the objections that you've heard inside of your business when you're out there presenting our products, presenting our business, that have kept somebody from saying, hey, I'd get started, but, right? Talk to me.
Don't have the money.
Don't have the money, right? I don't have the money. There's a big one. What else?
I'm not a salesperson.
Money. I'm not a salesperson. Not a salesperson. What else?
I'm not.
I don't talk to my spouse.
I need to talk to my spouse. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Hold on one sec, guys. I got a lot of people trying to come into the chat box, or into the waiting room here. I want to try to get them in here. So not a salesperson. Okay. So perfect. What else? Talk to me. Oh, spouse. I need to talk to my spouse. All right. I need to talk to my spouse or someone else. I need to talk to somebody else. Right. What else?
Too busy.
Busy. Right. So I don't have the time. How many guys heard that one before? Right. So
I don't know too many people.
I don't know anybody.
I don't know anybody.
Don't know anyone, right? So what is this? I'm too shy, right? I've heard that. It's kind of in the same context. What else? What are some of the other objections you guys have heard?
I'm not into these kinds of things.
I'm not into these things. I don't like MLM or
Pyramid scheme.
Or these, pyramid scheme. Is that how you spell scheme? I don't even know how you spell it. Pyramid scheme. Anyway, whatever. I don't spell well. That's all right. So not, thank God for autocorrect. So
I don't spell well either. I love autocorrect.
So I don't like MLM or I've done this before. How about that? How many of you guys have heard? I tried that before. Tried one of those. Right? Tried one of those. Something in MLM. So what else? What other objections have you guys heard? Talk to me. That's it? Those are the only ones you've ever heard?
Oh, I don't like skincare. I don't like this, or I don't like that. Whatever.
I don't like products. I don't like products, or I'm not into fill in the blank, right? So I'm not into fill in the blank.
I don't
Too busy.
Too busy. I got busy over here. I got time, right? Time or too busy. I don't have the time. Too busy. What else?
I don't have
Some people
enough money.
might say they don't know how to present.
I don't know how to present.
Yeah.
That's an excuse as to why they quit or why they wouldn't join.
Or why they want to join. They're afraid that they might not be able to speak in front of everyone.
Okay, right. I'm afraid of people. So I'm afraid of people or presenting, right? So that could go into the sales conversation. I'm not a salesperson, right? What else?
I don't like anything with sense.
I don't like anything with sense, like sense.
Yes, I had somebody give me that.
Perfect. Buyer nutrition.
I'm sorry?
I'd say perfect. Buyer nutrition.
Yeah, I tried to send her one of those experience packs for the nutrition and she didn't say anything.
She doesn't
travel.
Sense. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to put it on here. Sense. Is that how you spell sense?
I don't really have friends.
I don't have any friends. I'm lonely. No friends.
I got too many products already.
I have too many products. I own too many products already, right? How about they're too expensive? How many of you guys have heard that one? Too expensive.
I don't like talking to people.
Yeah, I don't like people, or I'm afraid of people. I don't like talking to people. So I don't like, yeah, we got a lot of these kind of, I don't know anyone. I don't want to talk to people. I'm shy. Don't
old to do this.
Don't like what?
I'm too old to do this.
I'm too old. I'm too old. There's a good one. Too old, right? Okay, so
Hey Jesse, how about I already have products that work for me and I'm happy with them.
I have products that I like, I'm happy with. So, right. So
I'm already in another MLO company.
I like my products, right? I'm in another MLM. I'm in another. Okay, I'm already in another MLM, right? Something like that. Okay. So I had someone said I need to pray about it. How many guys have heard that one? Pray. I need to pray about it, right? So here's what I say when someone says I need to pray about it. I said, well, have you prayed before? And they're like, yeah. Like, well, how do you know this isn't your answer?
I don't want to lose more money.
I've actually prayed with them.
Right. So yeah. Well, hey, let's pray together and let's see.
I got kids.
Right. I
got kids. That was a good one.
Oh, that's a good one. I got kids like they're diseased. I got the kids that can't do this. You know what I mean?
Think about it. I'm thinking about it.
Think about it. I got think about it. Oh, there's a good one. Think about it.
I'm not ready for something like that.
I'm not what?
I'm not ready for something like that.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not
Research it. I don't want to lose money.
Oh, research. There's one. Research. I got to research, right? So I don't want to lose my money. There's a good one. I don't want to lose.
Did we already say I'm not a salesperson?
Yeah, we got that on here. I'm not a salesperson, or I put that somewhere, didn't I? Right? If not, not a salesperson.
How about people that may not be in another MLM, but they're happy with their professional career as it stands right now?
Oh yeah, I like my career, right? So I like my job or my career. So
too many people are doing it.
So I had somebody says I already make 6 figures, right? I already make 100 grand a year. I already make 6 figures, or I'm already successful, you know, kind of that type of a conversation, right? So, all right, do we have a couple more?
I'm not worth it.
I'm not worth it. Oof, that one hurts my soul.
The poverty mentality.
Yeah. Oh man, that one just. Oh man, I hate it when people have been beaten up by life or parents or life or school or whatever it may be, and you know, and they forget that they are the creators of their own destiny. And oh man, it just hurts me. But there are people out there that think I'm not worthy, right? I'm not worth it. So or it's
a scam.
It's a scam. Oh yeah, I don't get many of those anymore. Not in 2021. Every once in a while you'll get that, but 10 years ago, oh yeah, tons. So those
networking is not for me.
Networking is not for me. So kind of like a lot of these are in the same context, right? Do we have any others that are not on here that are like big ones? Are we missing any? I think we got most of them. No, good. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna mute you guys out here real quick, and we're gonna dive back into this. So here's what's fascinating about this, right? So we've just kind of gone over, just give me any objections that you guys get. Would you guys agree with me that these are like the primary ones? And if you didn't write these down, you can write them down or go back over this. We'll make sure you guys have the recording. Today's training is going to be, normally try to keep these to about 30 minutes. Today's training is going to be a little bit longer. And the reason why is because I want to go over these and I want to talk about them, right? So because you're going to hear these, but if I wrote these down, I talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. I wrote down about 30, right? Now, I think if you guys would agree with me, a lot of these are the same objection, just worded differently. Would you guys agree with me on that? Like a lot of these are like, I don't have the time, or I'm too busy. That's really the same thing, right? I don't know anyone. I don't have any friends. I'm scared to talk to people. I'm shy. Like a lot of those are really the same objection, right? So if you really boil this down and when you take a look at it, you're really looking at if I've noticed about 20. There's about 20. And there's about 10 real common ones that you're going to hear very consistently over the course of your career. So here's what's interesting. Instead of being afraid of these objections, as a lot of people do, what I want you to realize is this is it. This is it. That's it. This is all you're going to hear forever. Like, this is all I've heard for 20 years. 20 years ago or 19 years ago when I started network marketing, people said the same thing. You know what they're going to say in 20 years? The same thing. They're going to say the same thing. So what I realized was that part of it was I didn't even have to overcome objections. I just needed to show more people that didn't have objections. How about that? Right? Now, here's what's crazy. In the beginning, you'll make up in numbers what you lack in skill. Let me ask you a question. Are there people that you present Seacret to that don't have these objections? And the answer is what? Yes. Are there people that have no objections when they get introduced to Seacret? Yes. So instead of me trying to convince and or beg a whole group of people to do the business, what I realized is I didn't even have to learn how to overcome objections to be successful. Now, am I telling you that I don't want you to overcome objections? No. Am I telling you that I don't want you to learn how to take care of objections? No. You're going to learn them, but in the beginning, you're going to be bad before you're good. You're going to have so many times where you're going to end a conversation and then you're going to think about, oh, I should have said this. And you're going to be mad at yourself. And I'm just letting you guys know it's going to happen. But let's talk a little bit about a few techniques of overcoming objections that I have found to be incredibly helpful. Okay. So first off, here's a couple of very simple ones. And I want you guys to go over. The first one I'm going to talk to you about was one of the first ones I learned, and it was incredibly helpful when I didn't know what to do or didn't know what to say. And it's called the tennis approach. Okay. All right. Now, how many of you guys have seen tennis, right? Seen tennis, watched tennis, right? So if there's tennis, you got the net, right? And then you're on this side. And let's say your opponent is on this side. And I am an artist and they've got their racket right? So, and the goal in tennis is what? The goal is to hit to their side. That's the goal of tennis, right? So my goal is to hit it into their side of the court. And then their goal is to do what? Yeah, knock it back to me. And then my goal is to do what? Knock it back to them. And then their goal is to do what? Knock it back to me until one of us messes up. That's the game of tennis, right? So I want you to think about
your life to Jesus.
Like,
because sin, the sin that you're practicing.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, so, oh my gosh, we got so many people trying to get in on this. So, sorry guys. In fact, might be somebody that can help me out with this. I don't know. Do we have any of our Platinum Synergy members here that can, I can make you a host here? I'm going to make a co-host, Chris Pemberton. So I'm picking on you, buddy. If I'm going to make you a co-host, and if you see people bopping into the weight room, can you accept them for me? That would be very, 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 very helpful, because there's just people piling in on this, trying to get in on it. Jay Peso, I'm going to make you a co-host. So if you see people coming in the weight room, because I'm trying to do this and talk, and then we'll accept people into the room, that would be very, very helpful. Thanks, guys. So back here to tennis. So we're going to tennis, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So one of the simplest ways that I have found in order to handle some objections, not all objections, but in the beginning, this helped me out dramatically when I didn't know what to do or what to say, is to repeat the objection. And so write this down: tennis, repeat the objection. Now, the thing is, when you repeat the objection, you want to repeat it in a way that you're like confused, or almost kind of like whatever they said, it just doesn't make sense. Okay. And then what it does is it knocks the ball back into their court, especially if somebody has a stupid objection, right? So like, oh, is this one of those scams? Right. And it's like they served you up an objection. Now, you don't want to hide, because hiding, obviously, you're not playing in the game, right? So, because if you just like cover up, you're going to miss the ball, right? So you also don't want to get angry. That used to be me after a while, right? Once I learned how to overcome some objections, I used to be like, you know, MLM defender man, right? So, and it would be like, they would hit the objection, and this is one of those things. And I'd be like, no, it's not. I'd like throw the racket at him. And then I didn't win any matches that way. It was like how to alienate friends and then, you know, uninfluence people, right? So that's really kind of how it started. But then what I started learning is, if I repeated it, whatever they said when I didn't know what to, this one I got caught, and they were just like, is this one of those things? And they serve you up an objection. All you got to do is you turn around and you go, one of those things. And it's like you hit it back into their core. Here's what I found. Most of the time, people have no idea what they're talking about, right? So they're like, yeah, well, you know. And I'm like, I know. What do I know? They're like, yeah, you know, where you just got to convince all your friends and family. And convince all your friends and family? I swear to God, this is one of my favorite dealings with objections early on in my career, right? So and all it is, if you think about it, is this, and I want you to write this in your notes. Handling objections is simply asking questions. All objections that I deal with them in one way and one way alone, asking questions. All objections. I don't mean some. Every objection that I ever get, I am always firing back with a question. And the reason why is because it actually sparks a conversation, right? I'm not afraid of the conversation. I'm not afraid of the objection. There's nothing you can say. And here's the reason why. I'm not here to beg you. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not. I don't need you to do Seacret for me to be successful. I need people. I just don't need you. Right? So now, look, if this isn't for you, it's okay. I know there are other people out there that are going to be interested in doing Seacret. Now, if I'm excited about this, so now in this question, so this thing called tennis, I want you to try this. You could even do it with your spouse. Be like, babe, you want to go to the movies? Do I want to go to the movies? Then they're like, yeah, well, I mean, I was just curious if you want to go to the movies? I was like, do I want to go? Now, you'll annoy your kids, by the way, with this. It'll be so much fun. When they say something silly, just repeat it after them. Mom, can I have some candy? Can you have some candy? Well, yeah. I mean, I just wanted to see if, it would be okay if I could. Would it be okay if you had? Right? If you repeat the objections and act like it's kind of silly. Now, I'm telling you, this approach does not work a lot of the time. It doesn't. But what I found a lot of times is it gets you to the next step, or it gets you to the real thing. So write this down. What's the objection behind the objection? Write this down. What's the objection behind the objection? Most of the time, a knee-jerk reaction objection is going to be surface level. Your job is to be like Curious George and to be able to find out what is the real reason. So I want you to think behind every objection, there's a reason for it, right? Now, there's usually one of only two reasons I have found that somebody has an objection that's interested. Not a rejection. A rejection is somebody's not interested, right? Oh, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. And that's not I don't have the money. That's I'm just not interested, right? But if you look at the objection behind the objection, it's usually one of two things. You write this down. People's objections come from two places, fear or ego. Fear or ego. They're going to come from fear or ego. The majority, I'd say 80% of them are going to come from fear. 20% are going to come from ego. Okay. So 20% from fear, from ego. So 20% ego, 20% fear. So when somebody has this, I want you to get through this. Is your job is to get past the objection and get to the person. Write this in your notes. Get past the objection and get to the person. The person is giving the objection. And if majority of them are coming out of a state of fear, most of these that we wrote down over here are a state of fear or uncertainty or concern or something of that nature, right? So fear is, what is it that's holding them back from getting started? These are a few things that I started noticing when I started looking at these objections, is most of the time it's somebody that's afraid. So write this in your notes, is certainty. A lot of times we'll refer to this as posture. Now, what I don't mean is this. I don't mean puffing up your chest and being like, I'm the man, I'm the woman, and let me overcome your objection and handle this with you. It's almost like a dance. Objections are a dance where I'm not trying to beat you into a way of thinking. Is I want to take you on a place where you go from uncertainty to certainty. You go from lack of confidence to belief. If I can take somebody from the I don't know if it's possible, or I have this concern, to overcoming that concern, that can help you move. And the easiest way that I was able to help do that in most cases, okay, is the second tactic that I want to talk to you guys about, or skill when it comes to overcoming objections, right? Which is a very simple one: feel, felt, found. Okay, feel, felt, found. I want you to write down these three words. Something I learned a long time ago. Now, I want you to use your own language and your own words, right? You don't want to be a robot when it comes to this stuff, right? But feel, felt, found. Hey, someone says, look, I don't have the money. So I used to kind of yell at people a little bit. Yes, you do. You have the money, but it didn't work very well. So, hey, I know how you feel. Look, I felt the same way. I didn't know I had the money, or didn't know where I could find it, or if I spent it, how quickly would I make it back? But here's what I found out, And then you're going to insert a story. Okay. Feel, felt, found, inserted by a story. Now, personal stories are the best, but in the beginning, you might not have a personal story. So you might have to use other people's stories. This is why the presentations are so important to be a part of, so you can learn people's stories, so you can learn what it is that help them go from here to there, that help them go from uncertainty to certainty. Because what we're trying to do is, this is why testimonials are so important and stories are so important, because they provide belief for people of what's possible. That's holding somebody back from getting started, right? So feel, felt, found. These were really important things when it came to the beginning of the business, when I was trying to find out exactly what I needed to do in order to move somebody through one of these objections. Okay. So tennis, repeating is one thing. Second thing, feel, felt, found. It's another way to deal with objections. Okay. Right. Another way to deal with it, I found out to deal with objections. And I know this sounds silly, is just to kind of ignore it and ask a different closing question. And I know this sounds a little bit crazy. We're like, really? And they said, yeah. So if somebody says, I'm not a salesperson, I'll be like, listen, I totally get that. So, and then I will ask a question that points them in a different direction. Okay. So whatever it says, look, hey, I'm not a salesperson. I was like, listen, I get that. Right. So, and then I'm going to ask a question. Like I said, okay, cool. Well, do you know people that do sales? Yes. Say, great. So what if we introduce them to Seacret and they were part of your team and you had good salespeople part of your team? Would that be okay? Well, yeah. Okay. That'd be good. Most of the time it's going to come out of fear. So what I want to do here is I want to jump into a few of these and talk to you about how I talk about them at this stage of my career. Okay. So let's jump into these and let's talk a little bit about them as I go through. Some of them I think are simple. Some of them I think are fast. Some of them, it depends on how much time I want to spend with somebody. The other thing is, this is how long am I going to spend? Let's see if I can get this out a little bit more. There we go. So we can see a little bit more of the paper. All right. So, but the good news is this: once you've learned all these objections, it's like you become a networking ninja. And the question is how long do you want to play the game? And do you want to continue to play the game with somebody that's in this? Now, if I don't know where somebody's at when it comes to the recruiting process or where they are, I'm going to ask them. So here's some solid questions that you can ask somebody. Okay. The number one question that I like to ask somebody if I'm not sure where they are is I'll say something like, listen, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being totally not interested, I definitely am never going to do this. And 10 being, I'm ready to get started right now. Where would you find yourself on that scale? That's a great question if you don't know where somebody's at, right? What do I ask them? There's a question to ask them. The second thing that you can ask them outside of that is when they tell you, I'm a 6, I'm a 7, I'm a 5, whatever it is. Say, great, perfect. What would have to happen to get you to a 10? What would have to happen to get you to a 10? Right? So, but let's talk a little bit about a lot of these. A lot of these, if it's one of those things where it's like, I don't have any friends, right? So I'm too shy, or I don't know anybody, or I'm afraid of people, right? We've got a lot in that context, right? So let's talk a little bit about that. I'm not worth it. This is a person I'm going to have a personal conversation with. I'm not worth it. I'm going to say bullshit. Listen, I don't care who you are, where you come from. You are worth it. You are worthy. You are worthy of being successful. And I'm just not going to buy that excuse. I'm not going to have you have that limiting belief. I'm just not going to. So bottom line is this: you are going to get started here with Seacret. And the reason why you're going to get started with Seacret is because I want you to be around a community of people that support you and celebrate you and is here to lift you up and not push you down. Is not here to step on your dreams. It's here to stretch your vision. This is something that I want you to be around a group of people. I don't care if you make a dime with us or not. You need to be around a better environment, because the current environment that you have yourself in has you believing some bullshit. Anyway, that's how I'm going to talk to that person. So some of you guys are like, I don't know if I can talk to a person that way. Listen, sometimes you just got to breathe life into people, so, and someone did it to me. Someone breathed life into me. So, and I'm not going to let people beat themselves up like that. Now, somebody has a fear and insecurity. So here's one of the first things to do. I don't know anybody. I was like, listen, I totally get it. I totally see how you feel. So let me do me a favor. Grab your phone real quick. And this is what I do is I have them grab their phone. I say, go to your contacts. And I just want you to scroll all the way to the bottom. Now on iPhones, it's on the bottom. Sometimes on Androids, it's on the top, but on the top or the bottom, it's going to have a number at the very top or the very bottom of the phone, right? Now in their phone, there's going to be hundreds of contacts. And they're like, I don't know anybody. I was like, who are those 200 people? And they're like, oh. Every time. I said, let me ask you a question. Log on to your Facebook for me real quick. How many people you have on Facebook? 15, 20, 100, right? So 200. Say, what about your Instagram? Whatever this is, Snapchat, any social media, right? So, and people know 100 people. I say, listen, so let's just say you know 100 people. Now, here's what most people are afraid of. Most people are afraid that they're going to have to go convince their friends and family to do this. And they don't want to be in that position. And what we want to do is take them out of that situation where they're not. We're not here to convince or beg these people. So the reason why I like the phone and I like going to their contacts is because if they're with me or they're on Zoom, I say, well, just show me the phone here real quick if I'm with them in person, right? And I'm just on the A's, right? And I'll go to the A's and I'll just go down and I'll just pick a random name and I'll say like, Abraham. So when was the last time you talked to Abraham? So, it's been a long time. And I say, okay, cool. Well, listen, you probably weren't thinking about Abraham when you said you don't have any friends, right? No, he wasn't thinking about Abraham. Okay, perfect. So listen, Abraham is this. Now, does Abraham have skin? Yeah. Does Abraham have a spouse? Well, I don't know. Well, maybe he does. Does he have kids? Do they have challenges with their skin? Do they have acne? We don't know. See, we don't know. So here's the thing. Would he be interested in our nutrition? Does he have a problem sleeping? Is there a problem with his weight? Would our club challenges or club fit programs be something you'd be really excited about? I don't know. Here's the thing. You don't know either. So, but let me ask you a question. If we showed Abraham these products and we just sent him a video, sent him a link or had him check it out, right? He could say no, right? He could say, no, piss off. I don't like it. It's not for me, right? But it could be really good for his health. Here's the thing. We don't know. Here's the thing I'm not here to do. We're not here to convince Abraham of whether or not Seacret is good for him. We're just here to present Seacret to Abraham, show Seacret to Abraham. And if he likes it, great. And if he doesn't, then great. That's it. Like we're not going to go there. So, okay. So what I'm really doing with somebody that gives me an objection like that's of interest, but they are not moving forward, is I'm really taking that person. I'm not trying to convince them to join. I'm really showing them how we do the business. Because that's where most people get caught up is someone says, I need to think about it. By the way, here's the answer. Here's the question for I need to think about it. Great. What are you concerned about? Write this down. I need to think about it. What are you concerned about? Because they're not thinking about all the money they're going to be making. That's not what they're thinking about. They're thinking about something that they're trying to figure out how to do it, how to be more successful at it, how it's going to work for them, right? So these are a couple of things here when I go through the phone, I go through their Facebook and all that stuff. And I say, listen, if you know 100 people, look, you know 100 people. Let's say 1 out of 10 would be interested. Would that be a fair ratio? 1 out of 10 be interested. Would that be a fair ratio? Yeah, perfect. So 10. Those 10 people all know another 100 people. That's another, if you think about it, those 10 people know 100 people. Now we're talking about 1,000. Those 10 people, now we're talking about 10,000. How many people do you really need to know? Right? You don't really need to know that many people. We're not talking about gobs and gobs of people. But also, we live in a day and a time where in social media, you can join any Facebook group for free of your likes and or interest and create connections with people that have similar interests that you do. And we have trainings and programs that teach you how to do that. Right? So what we're looking to do is provide certainty. Write this in your notes. The majority of overcoming objections is providing certainty. Your job is to bring certainty. And that's this level of posture to the conversation of belief. Right? Now I'm going to pause for a quick second here before I go into more of these in detail. Right? So more of these in detail of how I would answer them individually is this. Right? Here's my belief. This is a core fundamental belief of Jesse Macpherson. And when you can adapt this core fundamental belief, recruiting will become easier. I don't want to say easy, but I want to say easier. Okay. I do not find recruiting difficult. I don't. And one of the main reasons why I don't find recruiting difficult is this core fundamental belief I have. I believe that your decision to join Seacret will improve the quality of your life. It's what I believe. And you cannot talk me out of that conversation. It would be like, Jesse, what's your name? Jesse. And they're like, no, I think it's John. No, it's not. Like my certainty about my name is the same certainty I have about the decision that you are about to make to join Seacret. It will improve the quality of your life. I promise you. right? Now, I don't know what somebody's going to do when they join Seacret. I'm not promising them riches because I don't know. And people say, how much money I'm going to make? I don't know. How much are you going to work? Right? So, all right. I don't know. I don't know. Here's what I do know. If you follow the program, people will be successful. That's like asking somebody, well, I joined the gym. How much weight am I going to lose? I don't know. How many times are you going to go? How much are you going to eat? I don't know. But I know if you follow the program, you will get results, right? So, but regardless of the results, here's the thing. If people made not 1 cent, this is my core belief. If they made not 1 cent in joining Seacret, the quality of their life would still be improved. This is what I believe. There's a core belief and you can't take it away from me. I have too many people that have said that the quality of their life is improved from being a part of Seacret, being a part of a community. Here's what I believe: everybody deserves to be a part of a community that's going to inspire them, that's going to hold them accountable, that's going to celebrate in their victories, that's going to pick them up in their setbacks, that's going to recognize them when they do things that are incredible, that's not going to cap them at the knees when they don't get it right the first time. I believe everybody should be a part of a community that's going to love them, that's going to encourage them, where they can feel like there's family, where they feel like they're supported, where they can get growth, where they can get to the next level. I believe everybody deserves to be a part of that. That's what I believe. How many of you guys can feel that on me right now? Like you can feel it on me. That's why recruiting is not hard for me, because I'm not trying to make people successful. I'm bringing them to what I believe is one of the greatest communities they could ever be a part of. It's what I believe. Now, what they want is they want to make money or whatever it is, right? What I want to do is I want them to make money and be a part of something that's going to help them grow. Now, most people aren't looking for growth. They're looking for money. So I'm going to show them how they can make money. But man, here's what I believe. If they join, are they going to get the products at the best price possible? Yes. 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 Right? Are there great tax incentives to having a home-based business if they join the business? And the answer is what? Yes. Yes. Right? If they use all the products, worst case scenario, they use all the products, they're going to look better, feel sexier, and they can write it off on their taxes. If they did nothing ever again in Seacret, that's worst case scenario, right? Somebody says they invested some time. Okay, if they got on these trainings, I believe these trainings are incredibly valuable. You know how much people pay for this kind of content normally? You know how much you have to pay normally in the expert space for people that have spent 20 years of their life getting good at something that you get to get on Zoom for free every day and listen to people that have made millions of dollars in the profession you're trying to get good at? Are you out of your mind? I've spent $250,000, more than $250,000 in personal development seminars, courses, and trainings. And I can tell you that the trainings you're getting from Marcus, the trainings you're getting from these guys are ridiculous. Like they're not like on scale. They're not like a spin-off of someone. A lot of these people created these industries that people are out there pitching and selling anyway, passionate about that subject too. Anyway, but what I want you guys to understand is that level of confidence and belief of what somebody has when they're making the decision. I am so grateful that I made the decision to join Seacret. This is what it's doing for me in my life. And I know some of you guys are saying, well, it's easy for you to say, you're making $1 million a year, right? Yeah, but that was the posture I had when I was 19 years old and broke. When I joined my first network marketing company. And the reason why was the education was so inspiring and so impactful for me. And I was like, this is the best stuff ever. Why don't so many people hear about this, right? So what happened for me was I really got involved in that conversation of having that level of posture that your decision to join, the quality of your life will improve, period. End of conversation. So when you have that belief that I'm not trying to get somebody to do something, I'm not trying to get somebody to come up with this, it can help you dramatically. So anyway, I hope that you guys understand a little bit more of when I say posture, that level of belief is what I'm talking about. Now, let's go through a few of these that I think are important here. All right. So I don't like products. Perfect. Check out our club program. Right. So, I mean, I'm just going to go in a different direction. Whatever somebody says, look, I only need to get one reason why they would join. I don't need 10 reasons. And the reason that they need to join doesn't need to be my reason. Right. So I'm too old. I said too old to take care of your health. Too old to take care of, I'm too old. And say, well, listen, I totally get that, but I bet you know some people that are young at heart, right? So who do you know, right? So, okay. Products too expensive. Compared to what? This is one of my favorite things to say when products are too expensive. Well, compared to what? Compared to store-bought stuff? So, okay, I totally get that, right? So, you know, I mean, well, listen, so you can't compare a Lamborghini to a Hyundai. Even though they're both vehicles, you can say, well, it's too expensive. And I say, well, yeah, it's the best of the best. Here's what I love about Seacret. It's affordable luxury. Affordable luxury. This is something where if you look at our products, especially in our skincare, they aren't month-long supplies. A lot of them are 2 months, 3 months long supplies. So if you really split a $90 product into 3 months or 4 months, you're talking about $30 a month for that product of the most advanced anti-aging product on the market that has the Dead Sea minerals in it. Come on, you know, so, all right. Now, how many guys have also heard the expression, you get what you pay for? Boom, right? So yeah, I would never use that stuff because why? Look, I got one organ that's on the outside of my body, it's my skin, and I want to take care of it for the rest of my life. So, so a couple of things like that. So I own too many products. Why do you own so many products? Would it be nice to have less products that worked? I mean, these are one of the things. I like my products. Now I say, perfect. Do you like your skincare or your nutrition products the most? My skincare, perfect. Well, why don't you try out our nutrition products? So do you love all your products? Are you in love with all of them? Do you have an exfoliator, a shampoo, a conditioner, like all of them? Perfect. Okay. I'm in another MLM. Let's talk about that here for a quick second, right? I'm in another MLM. Perfect. Totally get it. There's a few different ways to approach this one. So I say, that's awesome. I'm so excited you're in the industry. I'm just great. I'm excited that people are in the industry. I love asking a whole bunch of questions. How long you been in your company? Awesome. So how long have you been doing it? You know, great. How big is your team? Right. Oh, some people are like, whoa, no, we don't talk about that stuff. I'm like, why not? Right. So now, but you can just ask questions, right? So what made you get started? Why did you get started in that company? So those are great questions that I like to ask people. I'm usually not just going to get into, I'm not going to do one of those, I'll show me yours, you show me mine. Like, I just don't do that, right? I used to in the beginning, and I just found that it's not that, it's just usually a waste of time. So here's a question I like to ask to network marketers. I say, perfect, right? So are you married to your company, or is it more about your goals? Are you married to your company, or is it more about your goals? So when someone says, why'd you get started? Oh, I want to be able to be a stay-at-home mom or retire from whatever. I say, perfect. So are you married to your company, or are you married to your goal? Oh, I'm married to my company. If they're that married to their company, awesome. Give them a high five, you know, celebrate them. Awesome. Here's what I love to say to those people. Okay. I say, listen, it's very simple. I'm married to Seacret. I love it. This is what I'm doing. I say, I'll tell you what, why don't we do this? You do your thing. You're super pumped about it. I'm going to do my thing. Why don't we circle back in 6 months? I'll make you a deal, right? I'll make you a deal, right? If I ever decide to leave Seacret, I'll give you a call. You'll be my first call. But if you ever decide to leave XYZ company, how about I be your first phone call? Deal? Deal. Shake on it. And you know what you do? I call them every 6 months. And guess what? They always quit eventually. They're always looking for a new home. So, because I'm never leaving Seacret. Now, they don't know that, right? So, all right. But they're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Right. So I'll call you in 6 months. All right. So see how it's going. All right. And now I'm going to talk to them about the new things coming out in Seacret all the time. So that's just something that I've done with those people that's helped me recruit networkers. Let's jump back onto our list here. Okay, let's check this out. And then I'm going to get into the big two here in a minute. Okay. So I don't want to lose money. I say, perfect. All right. Then you shouldn't get started. Right. So you should get started. So listen, if your only reason for not getting started is you're afraid to lose, then unfortunately, I don't know if you're ready for business. So just be a customer, buy the products, use the products. If you think that getting our products at a discount and writing them off and having an opportunity is a loss, then you obviously I've done a poor job of explaining to you the value of these products. These products are amazing. And if you don't feel like there's a value in our products, then maybe the business isn't for you. But I mean, really, what are you really losing? Right. So if someone's getting started for $100, a couple $100, you know, so I'm going to talk about the money thing in a quick second. Right. So this is a pyramid scheme. I just don't get that much anymore. And I say, well, no, pyramid schemes are illegal. Network marketing has been around for 100+ years. It does over $100 billion a year in sales. What they're usually thinking about is a scam company. And there's a bunch of them out there. But I usually like to refer to another company. It was like, you mean like Mary Kay? Like Tupperware? They're like, well, no, not like that. I was like, well, that's network market. That's direct sales. That's what we do. And they're like, no, not like that. Like this company. And they'll name usually like a scam company, or maybe they'll name a company that went out of business, or they did a company that, that actually did not perform correctly or was shut down by the FTC, right? So we're not talking about that. Unfortunately, we get related to terrible companies in this industry, and it is what it is, usually because of overhype. So I don't like to do products. Perfect. Let's do travel. I'm going to go on the path of least resistance a lot of the times. So, but let's go over money and time. These are two big ones. Okay. So money and time. So I don't have the money. I don't got the time. So when somebody says, I don't have the time, I say, here's some questions that I ask people. I say, great. So you don't have the time. Listen, I totally can get it. I totally feel how you see how you feel. Look, most people are busy. Our business is built for busy people. That's what it's built for. All right. So, and the reason why is this. Do you think you're the first person that has given the objection that they don't have time when they were presented this opportunity? No. You're not the first person, and you're not going to be the last. In fact, every year, it seems like people have less and less time. The reason you're telling me you shouldn't do the business, in my opinion, is the reason I believe you should really evaluate the business more. So the excuse you're giving me for not getting started is the reason why I believe you should do it. Say you don't have a lot of time. So let me ask you a question. Remember, all objections are simply asking better questions. That's all handling objections is, asking questions. So let me ask you a question. If you keep doing what you're doing, next year, do you see yourself having any more time? And 5 years from now, if you keep doing what you're doing, do you see yourself having any more time? Say, listen, I'm not trying to point fingers here, but if now look, if you're just not interested, I get it. If you're just not interested, totally get it. But if you really are interested and you're telling me that you just don't have any time, that's the reason why. It's actually the reason why I'm doing this business. When I got presented with this business, I was teaching 14 dance classes a week. I was running 2 dance companies. I was auditioning and performing on the weekends, and I was going to school full-time, taking 16 units in college at a full load at the Art Institute of Los Angeles. That's where I was at when I was introduced to this. And the reason I got started is because I didn't have any more time, and I needed to make more money, and I didn't have 20 hours in the day to get a part-time. It didn't exist. But I saw this business model as a way for me to leverage my time. I knew it wouldn't happen overnight, but I believed that if I plugged in, and because I met so many people that with a few hours of time and what we call NET time, no extra time, write that down, NET time, no extra time, right? They could build their business around what they were already doing. Sending a text messaging, sending a video. So if time is the issue, I think it's one of the reasons you should really evaluate this. Time. Now, one of the most important things here, I want you to write this down, okay, in your notes, and overcoming objections, third party. Third party. One of the most important things that you can do is get yourself out of the way of, man, I got so good at this. Of learning how to get myself out of the way and get somebody else involved in the conversation, okay? So, and introducing a third-party expert. Now, in the beginning, it was a little awkward, a little clunky, right? But everything is awkward and clunky the first time you do it. Remember the first time you tried to kiss somebody? That was weird and slobbery and not good, right? But you kept doing it until it wasn't awkward anymore. Well, some of you, right? But you guys know what I mean, right? Same way through your phone calls. They were weird and like, oh, I'm going to get this other person on the phone and like, what? Like it was weird. And then it got to the point where it was just so natural for me when I started learning ways to transition that conversation. I said, listen, I get that you don't have the time, but here's how I was able to do it. I said, listen, I got to introduce you to my friend. I want you to hear her story. I don't want you to hear her objection. I want you to hear her story. You got to hear this woman's story. It's pretty crazy. It's incredible. Listen to what she did. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about the money objection. Most of these, by the way, are nothing more than fear. That's what they are. They're afraid of how it's going to work, how it's going to work out, how I'm going to do this. Oh, talk to my spouse. Here's one I forgot about. Talk to my spouse. I say perfect. So is this for a permission thing? This is a question I ask. Is this like a permission thing Or is it you want to get their opinion on the business? Just trying to figure out where we're at. Permission thing, or you want their opinion on the business? Say, perfect. I have a really good idea. If you go home and try to explain this to your spouse, have you ever gone home to your spouse and tried to explain something to your spouse and they were immediately like, what are you talking about? Have you ever had that? And they're going to be like, yeah. I say, well, listen, the best thing is this. If you're really interested in the business, the worst thing you could do is go home and try to explain this to your spouse. Because I can tell you 9 out of 10 what the answer is going to be. It's going to be no. And they're just going to ask you questions. It's going to be confusing. You're not going to know the answers. Here, tell you what. Why don't we do this? Let's set up a time where I share the information that I just shared with you and your spouse together. So that way he or she can ask any questions that they have. I can answer any of those questions. And then you as a family can discuss if this is a good thing to do. Is that fair? Okay. So listen, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want you to waste your time, but I want the best way for them to hear this information is for me to share it with them, right? Best way for her to hear this information is for me to share it with them. So let's set another appointment. That's what I'm going to do as much as I can. They're like, no, I'll just tell them about it. I'm like, I'm going to tell them. I said, listen, I'm just telling you, if you go do this, this is very likely going to be the response that you're going to get. So when you get this response, you can't back out on me. Right. So you and I are going to have a phone call. Here's what I found. If you tell them what's going to happen in the future and then it happens, you become more believable. All right. So that's why a lot of times I tell people, by the way, here's what you're going to go do. You're going to mess this up and here's what's going to happen. And then they're like, he told me not to do that. And I did it. He was right. He's a prophet. Right. I was like, no, I just done this 1,000 times. But let's go over the money objection. Okay. Money. So by the way, money, I don't want to say never, but almost never. Money is never the reason that somebody doesn't get started. Okay. So the biggest thing that we want to do here is learn the difference between money and value. Okay. Money and value. Money and value. Now let's just take the $300 pack, right? Now, can somebody get started with just getting started as an agent in Club Seacret? Yes. Can they get started with just getting started without a package? And the answer is yes. So really we're talking about entry point of $100, $99. Give me a flipping break. I mean, look, all of you have spent $99 on a night you don't remember. You just don't remember it, you know, and it ain't coming back. I'm letting you know, right? So all of you have spent $99 on a bad date. Dudes, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Ladies, you've spent, I'm being very stereotypical right now, but you've spent more than $100 on something that you have never worn again. You have a mistake in your closet. In fact, you spent $100 on something you never wore. Like, let's get real here for a quick second when it comes to $100. Now, I'm not introducing people for $100. I'm talking to people minimum of getting started with one of our $300 packs, nutrition, skincare, and or our travel set. So I'm talking to somebody about coming in, basically, if you're looking at tax and shipping, you're looking at a little under $400, right? So whatever it is, because it's 300 plus the 49 plus tax plus shipping. So let's call it 400, $399. Are you out of your mind? Whatever, right? So $300, I'm getting somebody started. $400, I'm getting somebody started. I have found that it's not about the money. So there's a lot of different ways that we can talk about this, right? So if I'm talking to somebody, I'm saying, so Valerie, listen, are you concerned about the $300? Like you just really don't have it? Or is it more so you're just concerned on how quickly you'll make that back? This is a really good question to ask somebody. Is it really that you don't have the money, or is it just how quickly you think you'd make it back? Because what I'm trying to determine is this: do they really just not have it, or are they just afraid to spend it? That's a different objection. Most of the time, one of the reasons why you have a hard time answering objections is you didn't ask the next question to get to the objection below the objection. Remember I said at the very beginning, what's the objection below the objection? There's an objection beneath it. Okay. So outside of that, what I want you guys to understand is through the money of this is I could do a purse, I could do a car, I can do all kinds of things, right? So let's just do a car. Be stereotypical if I'm talking to a dude, but ladies love cars too. But let's just say anybody could probably relate to a car and say, listen, all right, just for a quick second, if you could drive any car in the world that you wanted, like I was Santa and I could just drop the car to you tomorrow, what car would you want to drive? Okay. People say BMW and Mercedes, right? Now, a lot of you are big dreamers right now. So you're like already on the Bentley, the McLaren, you're on the next level. Most people aren't that big dreamers yet. So maybe they just say a BMW. And I'm like, a BMW? Really? What kind? I love BMWs. And they're like, oh, I want to drive the X5, right? So I'll say, perfect. I said, what color? Black. I say, okay, black. So perfect. So just play around with me. So if I told you, what I always do is this, I grab my keys. By the way, I have an X5 key here. That's why I was thinking about it, right? So, and I'm thinking about my key and I pull out my keys and I will literally hold them. I say, all right, listen. So if I told you I got the keys to a brand new X5, fully loaded, black on black, just the way you want it, right? And if you bring me by tomorrow night, you got 24 hours, $399. Could be cash, credit card, Venmo, Cash App, dimes, nickels, quarters, pennies, your credit card, someone else's credit card. I don't care. You bring me $399 by tomorrow night. I'll meet you right here with the car. You hand it to me. I will give you the keys to this car. You think you can find it? And guess what? Everyone always says, yes. I've never had anybody tell me they say they couldn't. So I was like, listen. So now we're on the same page. So if I was talking here to Valerie, because she's sitting here right on the front of my screen, and I was saying, Valerie, I said, listen, so can we both agree then even if you don't have it, you can find it? Yeah. So what you're saying is that you'll find $400 for a car, a vehicle that will drive you around the block and make you look good, but will depreciate in value the minute you get the car, right? So, okay. Yeah, it'll drive you around the block, make you look good for a few minutes. You'll like it for a little bit. It smells good for a little bit. You'll find $400 for a vehicle, but you won't find $400 for a vehicle that will change your life and take you anywhere in the world you want to go. Valerie, come on. Let's go. Find it. Or do you really need to find it or do you really have it? Write that question down. Do you really need to find it or do you really have it? These are questions to ask people, okay? No, I really need to find it. But now we're on the task of what? Finding it. So when somebody says they don't have it, I say, listen, I get it. You don't have it. Fine, sell something. Facebook Marketplace, eBay, all these places, have a garage sale for God's sakes. You can have all of you have a couple $100 worth of crap in your house you don't want that somebody else wants. They want it. And they will spend money for it, and you can start your business. You can start your business from the junk in your garage. So I'm just not accepting that. Sell something. Sell your PlayStation. Sell your little brother. I'm just kidding. Don't sell your PlayStation. You might need your PlayStation. Jokes I make. That's a funny joke. Funny joke. Here's what I found. If people are laughing about their objection, they're moving past it. People are moving past their objections. Okay. Now, if somebody has a really negative connotation to network marketing, a negative issue with network marketing, right? Someone's like, oh, MLM, blah, 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 blah. Here's my favorite. I get really excited about these. These are literally my favorite, right? Somebody is always like, oh my God, you must have a story. Tell me all about it. Someone's going to like, oh, so when somebody has a negative connotation or, is this one? No, like, blah. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, right? They have just some negative, toxic reaction to bringing up network marketing, right? This is one of those things where I was like, oh my God, do you have a story? Oh my God, tell me about it. And I swear to God, 9 times out of 10, their story will go from the most horrific story in the world to, wow, it wasn't really that bad. I did this thing a couple years ago. I was like, oh my God, what happened? Did they take your money? Like all of it? Oh no, you got products. So well, what did you do? The products, like, were they rancid? Like they didn't work? Did you? No. Like, so I love just diving into asking these questions, right? So I said, oh man, I'm so bad you had a bad experience. Someone says, I tried one of those things. I say, look, have you tried eating before? Have you ever gotten sick from eating? Yep. Did you stop eating? No, you just had bad food. I'm sorry you had some bad food. Listen, it's time to move on. People say, well, listen, I've tried one of those things before. I was like, listen, did you marry the first person you kissed? Probably not. No, what did you do? Kiss it. Look, you got to kiss some frogs in order to find a prince. It's just part of the deal, right? I'm sorry you had to go through the frog. You were with a frog company. Now let's introduce you to the real deal. Like it's a real thing. It's look, don't associate. And this is the thing. I said, listen, you can't associate the entire network marketing profession to one company and or one sponsor. Because a lot of the times it didn't have anything to do with the company. It had to do with the upline. The upline was terrible. Didn't have a system, didn't plug people in, didn't teach people how to do these things. Right. So it's this level of confidence. Now I can go through all of these objections, but we've been an hour here. I don't want to take any more time today. That hour flew fast, didn't it? I literally looked at the clock. I was like, dang. All right. So when it comes to the money objection, now I want to just circle back here where we started. Tennis, repeating the objection. It's a great thing you can do. Right. So, but what I want you to be is curious, George, is get to the questions beneath the questions. Ask questions. Ask questions. So now you know that simply when I get an objection, what do? I ask a question, right? So, and if you don't know what the question is, here's the question to ask. Could you explain that more? Could you clarify more about what you mean by that? Someone says, I don't have any time. I'll say, what do you mean by you? So by not having enough time, you mean like throughout the middle of your day, on your nights, or your weekends, or I'm just super busy. I just don't have any time. So well, is that outside of your job? What are you doing outside of your job? That's another what? Question. It's all questions. If you see me do objections, it's all answering questions, but it's answering questions. But again, my goal is to get past the objection and get to the person. There is a person. Oh, that was kind of cool. You like that transition? That was cool. Come on, give me a break. I'm getting good at this Zoom stuff because normally I'm in person and I get to do more things with you guys, and I'm trying to figure out how to be creative on Zoom all the time. So, but there's a person behind the objection, and the conversation that you want to have with them. This is not a presentation. It's a conversation. And the idea is to have a conversation with somebody to get them from uncertainty to certainty. That's what I want you to be thinking about. Now, the 20% ego people, those are usually going to be your reds. And with your reds, the best thing to do with ego people is challenge them and get them on the phone with another red. That's what I found with reds. All right. So challenge them. So, oh yeah, I've done these things before. I was like, oh yeah, man, if I could make this much money with this company, you would make this much money with this company. You would destroy this thing. Right. So challenge reds and get them on the phone with another red. But when it comes to the majority of objections are somebody saying, I'm scared. It doesn't come across that way, but that is what it usually is going to be. And when you can be that level of confidence and certainty that their decision to join is going to improve the quality of your life, you're going to see some massive things come out of that. So one thing I do want to get you guys is there's a lot of stuff going on in the world of Seacret, and there's a lot of presentations and trainings and all this kind of stuff. I'm very fortunate to be connected with the company for the last 10 years and being very close here to corporate, involved in a lot of the training. So a lot of people have been asking, we have different WhatsApp groups for communication. And I've decided to put together a WhatsApp group for direct communication with me. It is not a group where you'll be able to post. It is not a group where you'll be able to comment. It is simply a group where I'm going to be sending updates. So promotions, trainings, information that is going to be specific to all agents. I have them for bronze groups. I have them for platinum groups. I have them for diamond groups. I have them for blue diamonds, ruby groups. What I didn't have is something for anyone, that if you wanted to have direct communication from me, so when something comes out that I know that the field needs to know about, I'm usually going to post it in my team group, but some of you aren't in that team group, right? Some of you are in your own team group. So I've gotten a request for this. So I'm having a communication channel for me, updates of anything. If you guys want to get in on that, it's going to be in the WhatsApp group. And this WhatsApp group, I just put it in the chat box. If you click on that link, it should take you right into joining the group, and you can join that group. Comments are only through administrators, which is me and my assistant that is going to be posting stuff. But a lot of times, if I'm going somewhere, I know that there's a training somewhere, a view from the edge road shows, where a lot of times I'll get the flyer before you guys get the flyer, before corporate gets the flyer, because I'm part of putting the event together. So like when I'm in Puerto Rico, some people have been asking, well, hey, listen, when are you going to be in Colombia? Or when is this event going to be happening? So whether it be events, presentations, or whatever it is, you can click on this and I'll be able to disseminate information to you guys very, 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 very quickly. So, whew, that was a long talk today. So now I could go on and on and on about objections because I love them. What I want you to do is I want you to start to love them. And what you're going to notice is that over the beginning, it's going to feel a little wonky, but eventually what you're going to notice is that this game is like a game. It's like they're playing chess or you're playing chess and you have them in checkmate and they don't even know it. And where it becomes almost fun to deal with objections. Now, the thing that we're not here to do is we're not here to convince, we're not here to beg people that aren't interested. We're just not going to do that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that, Seacret family. All right. So now, but what we are here to do is when somebody has a fear and or concern, our goal is to help them and get through it. So massive love and respect from Phoenix. We have a roadshows coming up here this next week. I'm going to be in Miami, then I'm going to be in Puerto Rico the next weekend. And then I'm hitting a few other markets. And then we've got some dinners here in Phoenix. And then we have our Gold Rush event, which is going to be incredible, coming up here at the end of September. By the way, they have opened up the Gold Rush event for 1-day tickets. So if you couldn't come for 3 days, but you want to come for 1 day, it's going to be an incredible, incredible show. Be prepared to have your mind blown, by the way. It's going to be incredible. So we'll see you guys very soon. Jesse Mack signing off here from Phoenix. Bye.